into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Welcome back to another Parks and Rec After Show. We are the Parks Crew, and this is Season 7. We're talking about episodes 4 and 5. 5 and 6, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so if you haven't already subscribed to us on YouTube, please do so. It's youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. Please rate, comment, subscribe. We love talking to you guys, reading the comments. It's what gets us through the week until the next episode. And we love tweeting with you as well. We have a new hashtag that we're starting. It's ABTV Parks and Rec. So, with that being said, I'm your host, Katie Campbell. My Twitter is @Katie Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's. And I have my lovely co-host tonight.
I'm Lauren Salaun, and you can find me on Twitter @LaurenSalaun. That's SALAUN.
My name's Quinn Scillian, and you can find me on Twitter @QuinnScillian. That's SCILLIAN.
Amazing. We love to talk to you guys. Tweet us with everything you thought about the episodes. Let's dive in. Okay, episode 5 was Grizzle Box, and it opened up with Leslie and Ben talking about the land of Grizzle and
Still trying to get, like, they're trying...
Right.
Who's going to buy the
Park.
Newport land or whatever, right?
Right. And they get a knock on the door. And they open it up, and it's this flying robot that Grizzle has sent over with a package inside. What did you guys think about this 2017 Grizzle Box?
Oh, I thought it was so funny. It was almost like a stork or something was coming to the house.
Very futuristic, but at the same time, we're seeing, drones and stuff going on these days. Even people, you can buy your own drone with a little camera on it. So it's not too far off from what we're seeing today.
And boxes are so in. You can get like a bark box, you can get a beauty box.
It's true.
Everything's coming in boxes in the future.
Yeah, the Grizzle Box with a drone delivery.
What were your initial thoughts on it? What did you think was inside?
Oh, I thought it was like something specifically for Leslie. I thought it was going to be like, back off, we want the land, something to kind of convince her to kind of quit the campaign.
Yeah, some type of hologram message maybe.
So like a negative thing to try to get her to back down.
Oh, I don't know if I thought it was maybe negative.
You never know. Grizzle's always got these tricks up their sleeve with trying to make people like them more.
Yeah.
And then we go to another scene where Tom is telling Andy about this new dish. He's describing it. Andy scarfs it up, and then he says, why are you doing this right now? You're really involved with this whole food thing. And he says, Lucy's in Chicago, visiting Conrad. We learn his name.
Yeah.
The boyfriend.
Which we thought it might have been John Ralphio.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I don't know who I thought it was going to be, but Conrad.
Yes, and then Andy has this contract that he brings up about Johnny Karate.
Yeah, talking about how...
His TV show that he does, like his little kid TV show.
Right, with all his ninja sidekicks, and talking about how he only gets paid $100 a week. And he's like, well, all I do is act in it, and I create the character. And then he's like, well, and I also direct, and I write it, and I do props, and all this stuff. So he's...
Everything.
He drives everyone home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He goes, so I think $100 is more than fair.
Yeah.
And Tom's like, what? You should be making a lot more than that.
So he says he wants to be his agent.
Yeah.
And he does all the janitorial services, too, which I thought was funny. He does everything for
so
his
Andy.
show. And then we open up to another scene with Donna talking to Leslie and saying, I work for Grizzle, but I don't approve of all of this.
Right, yeah, they're talking about the gifts that
everybody
they
got one.
And they're, like, hyper customized. So, stuff that only, Donna's gift was about her nicknames for her and her fiance that nobody knows unless you've looked through her phone. So they know something weird's going on. And then Leslie's, of course, are like a Joe Biden poetry book. So
Biden the rails.
Targeted. Yeah, Biden the rails.
Yep.
Poems while on a train.
So they're realizing that, their phone calls or emails, everything is getting tapped into, and that Grizzle is data mining everybody.
So now Donna is on their side, which we see another member of the Parks crew, join the team, and then they all say, okay, we need Ron. He's the next step.
And, of course Ron would hate this because Ron is such a private guy. They're like, we can't wait to tell Ron that Grizzle's been data mining because he's going to go crazy about it.
Right. They were excited. Now, before they meet with Ron, they hold a public forum And there's a lot of people who are on her side, which she was not expecting.
This is like the first public forum we've ever seen people agree with Leslie.
Yeah. Right.
Nobody ever agrees with Leslie at these things.
They even get into a chant, but it's in support of that, you know. And people love the gifts. They love these super customized gifts, but they're like, but the fact that they had to tap our phones, our emails, they're like facial recognition, all this crazy stuff is too far. Grizzle, too far.
Yeah, there was genital creams, and there were the pigs that were like famous people.
I loved those.
In the Virginia Woolf books.
Yes. Oh, the pigs that are celebrities. Samuel P. Jackson starring in Pork Fiction. Killed me.
Tom Selleck.
Oh, gosh.
Yes.
Okay.
So when they do meet with Ron, they meet at JJ's diner. And this is huge because we finally get to see the kids in pictures.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the February album, her scrapbook of 2016 February, we see at least a glimpse of it because we've been wanting to know more about these triplets.
I know, these dang
It almost feels like they're doing this on purpose to us.
That there's going to be some big reveal or something.
I mean, I don't know. It feels weird that we haven't seen them yet, so it seems like they're leading up to something here.
I know. I need to know more.
That'll be good.
And he shows a picture of his son, John. So we get to see him a little bit. Then he rips it up because, of course, he doesn't want any data out there, and he's, nothing.
Wants to, respect his son and maintain his son's privacy.
Exactly. So we actually find something surprising, and Ron's opinion of this entire invasion of privacy is that he doesn't have a comment.
Because he thinks it's their fault for using smartphones and for using this kind of technology.
And Ron,
so they deserve it.
Ron's all about free enterprise with business, so he's like, based on what I see at Grizzle, like they've got a lot of lawyers, so I'm pretty sure it's legit.
Yeah.
So Donna says, you know what, I can get you a private tour, because technically they don't know that I stopped working there. And
I don't know how that's a thing.
Right. We go to the private tour, though, with Roscoe, who is their vice president, and Leslie and Ben are dressed up.
In disguise.
Did they think that was going to work?
Right. It's a tiny town, and they're head people in it. And she's got a beret on and some glasses, and he's wearing some, felt or wool hat, and they think that's enough.
Darlene and Gregory. That's who we're going on the tour. And then we go back to the Parks and Rec office where we have April and Craig.
And April's still struggling with her job, her career path. I think she's, nearing her 30s or something like that, and it's really killing her that she still hates her job. So that kind of storyline has basically been a pretty strong through line throughout this entire season so far.
Yeah, and he wants her to mentor the interns.
Which she doesn't want to do because she's like, why would you want to work here?
Yeah.
No, and I loved how she said to Mike, she called him Mork. And naturally, she is with Jen. She likes Jen.
Because Jen is just April.
Yeah, the angsty, moody, doesn't like anything.
Basically.
Like April number 2.
Yeah.
Yes. And she convinces her not to take it. She says, go live your life. What do you want to do?
Do something fun. Chase your dreams.
Yes.
Something more exciting than this.
And then we have Andy and Johnny Karate. And they showed us a little segment of the show about puppy hating.
Oh, so cute. Yeah, the bad guy is puppy hating Dan, I think.
Yeah, and that's his bandmate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
From Mouse Rat.
That's right. The good thing about Johnny Karate is it deals with real issues, like puppy hating. You know what I mean? It really gets to the core of the problem.
Not okay at all. So he has his little kid ninja sidekicks all run at puppy hating Dan with all these puppies, which is I love that.
I know. That's my dream come true.
After that segment, we go into the office of one of the leading execs at this show, who happens to be Dax Shepard, which was amazing because
cameo.
We've seen his wife in the show before with Eagleton.
Yeah, she was on
Kristen
chairman
Bell.
of the board at Eagleton, Kristen Bell. And she was so funny. So it's nice that we got to see the other side of the duo.
What did you guys think about his character being on?
Oh, he did a great job. It was hilarious.
Yeah, he's so extreme and stuff, so it was fun. And it's always fun to get these kind of bigger cameos coming on, too.
And he had a funny bit about, I'm a big deal. James Woods follows my niece on Twitter.
Yeah, and he's discovered Selena Gomez, but not the Selena Gomez, a different
Selena Gomez, yeah. So he's a big deal.
Yeah, and he's offering them a deal. He wants him to just keep being paid $100.
Right, so they're talking, Tom and Andy are there to renegotiate Andy's contract, and he's kind of, not letting that fly. He's like, no, you be happy with what you got, sort of thing. But Tom's
because
putting his foot down.
Tom's like, I've seen how much you guys make. You guys can pay him a lot more than what you're paying him. So they're kind of trying to negotiate that around a little bit.
And he didn't want to.
Right.
And then back at the tour guide, we have the Grizzle Vibe, is this new app that they're creating, which is basically like a coffee app.
Right.
Yeah, they're linking up with Starbucks to
Geo-monitoring and stuff. And so if you're near a Starbucks or if it senses somehow in your like body temperature that you could need a coffee, it'll ping you with some message and tell you where there's a Starbucks close by.
And I want to give a big shout out to Sean Clements, who is one of the team members of UCB. He's at UCB in a show called Shitty Jobs every Sunday at 11 o'clock. And if you guys live in the LA area, please go see Shitty Jobs. It is one of the funniest shows I have ever seen. And Sean Clements did such a good job in his show. I'm so happy to see him on TV.
That's amazing. And at this coffee app and everything, it's monitoring the moods, and then they outright ask the vice president, are you data mining? And he says, yeah, absolutely. He's totally fine with it. He thinks everything's okay.
Yeah. He's like, totally, I know. And then he drops something like, oh yeah, of course I know Leslie. And she's like, wait, how did you know it was me? He's like, are you serious? Plus we like facial scanned you when you came in. We know like your phone is attached to our system, so we knew where you were going the whole day.
Speaking of this whole, technology is getting greater and greater as it's going on, would you guys be okay with all of this, getting these free presents and everything kind of altered to you?
No way. I mean, I think that's a huge statement the show's kind of trying to make, is just like be careful about, how much you start relying on technology.
And it's interesting because with those box type of services like Birchbox or whatever you're getting, you love that you get this customized thing that's perfectly for you each month. But the whole thing that makes the difference is that you have control over deciding that. Now, when it's a pop-up ad on Facebook and then on your Gmail or something that's related to something you just Googled, then you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? They are in my computer.
Because you want to be able to preserve, you want that customized thing on your own terms. You want to be able to preserve your privacy.
Right. I think the future is going to go more towards this Grizzle thing.
I know, that's what it seems like.
I mean, already.
So
I mean, that's what's interesting is that we're really enjoying all these future jokes. We keep getting like things that are going to happen in the next, like 3 years that we haven't been able to see yet. And I think that's been like a really, kind of one of their strongest comedic points. But it's also like a little bit of a warning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like a little creepy.
Definitely some legitimate satire about technology and where things are headed.
Yes, and
we're getting deep.
I know. Parks and Rec really hitting the hard points.
It's in there.
Yeah.
And so Leslie thinks it's a good idea to go on the Purd's court. And actually, I thought it was the People's Court for a second, and then I saw Purd, and I love the disclaimers. It says he wants to be called Judge Purd Hapley, but disclaimer, he's not a judge.
Purd is not a real judge.
Yes. I love those disclaimers that they were throwing, and she thinks it's going to work because she's going to open it up, public humiliation, that's going to go in their favor. And then Ron comes in with this huge book and says, no, because in, what was it, Amendment C, Addendum 14, opening to this appendix, and all this stuff.
It's like the contract or user guide sort of thing, the big agreement about Grizzle's.
Yeah, basically it claims legally that Grizzle is allowed to data mine. And because when people were getting their phones or getting their devices or doing whatever, they signed user agreements like we do, like on iTunes and stuff like that.
Read it.
These like 500-page user agreements, and it said that we have access to all that information, and everybody agreed to it. And so actually, it's legally.
It said that they didn't at first in the main one that was like 500 pages, but then in the 27th Amendment revision or whatever, months after that, they came out with something that said, "Oh, remember how we said that it wasn't okay? It actually is. Just kidding. We're gonna data mine everything." Okay.
And this was like a revision 17 or something. Yeah. And Ben was like, I read everything, but no, because December 18th of 2015, Star Wars came out,
and that was the day the revision was added.
Yes.
Yeah.
So. Icetown all over again.
Icetown all over again.
Leslie's like, they knew that you wouldn't be focused on your work and contracts because you'd be at the movie and waiting in line and stuff. They knew because they were data mining you, and that's how they snuck it through.
Oh my gosh. Did you think it was going to just be bad for him with the Icetown? Like he was going to go down?
Yeah, I know. I think Ben is super sensitive now about making any mistakes. I think he puts a lot of weight on his shoulders to make sure that he reads through things very, very clearly, and he knows everything, and he's kind of making all the right choices because he's lived through like the worst kind of public humiliation.
And Ronzi even said it's Icetown all over again, like from Ron Swanson.
Yep.
Now, then we go back to Hank talking about Johnny Karate, offering him $500 a week. You don't have to do janitor stuff. You don't have to do. He gave him a few deals, but then he said, "We own the rights to Johnny Karate." Johnny Karate, and Andy said no, and he walked out.
Yep.
Right, because Johnny Karate could be like extremely, like owning the rights to that. Who knows? That could be extremely lucrative for him.
Yes. And now we have April finding interns to replace Jen, because Jen was supposed to be the intern, and Craig was really upset with her about, the fact that she shooed her off. So she went and found a bunch of interns to replace her, and he said, where did you get all these people? And she channeled her inner Leslie Knope, which I thought was an amazing moment, because Craig kind of put her in her place about this whole finding yourself. You would be working somewhere else right now, and this is a really good situation. He's trying to show her that.
Yeah, he kind of puts her in the same place and gives her a little bit of a pep talk at the same time, saying how this has been so great. You've gotten to work alongside and learn from some really amazing people. Yeah, Leslie freaking Knope.
Yes.
Someone who really, really, really loves her job and cares about what she does.
And I love the fact that he sees Dr. Richard Nygaard. That's the main person to go to in this town.
Of course, who else?
His therapist, and I love his therapy. He's like, anytime I get a little overwhelmed or stressed or pissed off,
if I want to yell,
I take a deep breath and I list 3 things that make me happy about the world, and it's all sorts of random things.
Martha Stewart aprons.
Yeah.
Someone else's hair. Whose hair?
Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
So good. At the end of the episode, Ron knocked on Leslie and Ben's door with this broken...
It's like
pouring. With this broken robot, he said that he just shot out of the sky because it was sent to his son.
His 4-year-old son, who doesn't own any Grizzle technology at all.
Right, which means they had to go into Ron's wife's computer to find out about his son, and
that's the last straw.
Too far.
Ron doesn't even carry a picture of his son in his wallet because he wants to protect his son's identity, so he was not going to mess around with this.
And the only document, going back to the whole amendment, addendum, everything, the only document that he's ever signed was the Mulligan Steakhouse Club card, and he used a different name. Less vegetables.
Less.
Classic Ron.
Less vegetables.
I love Ron. That brings us into what?
Quickly, before that, we did have Lucy come back from her vacation or her
from
trip
Chicago.
to visit her boyfriend. And we learned that she and Conrad broke up.
Yes. And they want to have some wine.
Did I not call this? I called this.
Oh, yeah.
I knew they were going to break up.
It was coming soon.
I'm glad, though. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. I know.
I want them to be together.
And it's like kind of sad to see like Tom like pining after her when it's just like she obviously likes you. Let's just get the ball rolling.
I know. Okay, so let's jump into episode 6, Save JJ's. We open up
Treat
with...
Yourself 2017.
Yes, that's exactly what this episode. Treat yourself. Okay, we love that. And it was exciting to see this Treat Yourself because they go to Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. And they've been wanting to do that.
Time.
When they were sampling the cakes, it was so funny. I mean, we get to see Joe back, her fiance, which was exciting. And that Terry moment now.
Yeah.
He's Terry.
He's Terry now.
Yes.
But it was funny because Terry got to say treat yourself. Mm-hmm. And he loved every second of it.
He did. Treat Yourself 2017. And the Trodcast also came up, which was Roscoe and the Grizzle issue. And he was talking about...
Oh, he was getting interviewed about the data mining?
Yes, about the data mining. And he was offering a free concert for U2 and Beyonce. And the seating was income and sexual history. That's how you were going to be seated at this concert.
To say sorry. To say sorry about the data mining, you data mined to figure out where everyone was going to be seated.
So how they're going to win back everyone's trust, which is like exactly what U2 did this past year, was kindly drop an album into everyone's iCloud accounts, which some people got really pissed about.
People were so mad, yeah.
But they wanted to figure out, okay, so they said, they're really scrambling. We're going to take them down now. And then all of a sudden... the Newport Trust came on an announcement, and yes, their phones all go off. And then there's an announcement with the Newport Trust that Grizzle has now upped their offer to $125 million, and they accept it.
That's a done deal.
Yep,
it's over.
It's over.
I didn't think it was over.
No.
So Leslie, they all go to the diner, and JJ's Diner, and they're having waffles, and then they're talking about the fact that JJ's Diner is going out of business. Mm-hmm. What did you guys think about that?
so sad.
I feel like it was like it came out of nowhere. I was
That's
like,
such a staple for them to go and have meetings and hang out.
But I mean, like a big thing about Grizzle and about everything is just kind of like Leslie and Ron are trying so hard to maintain this Pawnee tradition, whereas like everybody else seems to be kind of okay with like putting that kind of stuff in the past and just moving on. So I think JJ's has been one of those like kind of like steadfast kind of establishments we've had since since the series started. Right. So it doesn't surprise me at all that was going to come into question, because that's one of the things that we kind of associate with Pawnee.
And of course, who's buying it is Dennis Feinstein. Thigh Gap.
Yeah, his company is called Thigh Gap LLC.
What is that?
Is that like some kind of Pure Bar? That's what I think it sounds like.
I don't even know.
So he's
such a creep.
He is. Yeah, he's a terrible human being.
He's the worst.
And the worst.
He's the worst.
John Ralphio, we want to see you.
Yeah.
So Leslie, she decides to rally outside of his company, and Andy goes up there with his little ninjas. They were so cute. And he's Jonathan Karate, though, which is the more serious one. And he goes up there to tell him, like, look at this protest. You can't take down JJ's Diner.
You're doing the wrong thing. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, and Dennis Feinstein was like, wow, I had no idea that, like, this place meant so much to so many people. Like, I should go down there. Like, I should say something.
Yes, and did you guys believe him?
I don't know. I don't know what I thought. It seemed like he gave up super quickly.
Yeah,
and he was just going to be like,
too
okay,
easy.
fine, you guys can have your diner.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case.
I thought it was going to be like, JJ's can stay, but it's going to be this instead. Some sort of trick was definitely coming, which
something in the works.
It did. He said psych.
Yeah. He's like, dear Pawnee, like, you can have your diner. Everyone's cheering. Psych. And like that was it. He's like, just kidding.
And then he had to go kill his dad, like pull the plug on his dad.
That was so bizarre.
It was a little morbid.
It was making me upset.
And then like just to like make matters worse, he poured a bunch of like wet dog cologne all over everybody. Release the hounds.
What, you have hounds here? He's like, no, the hounds is this wet dog cologne that's been rejected by the FDA. He dumps it on all of them.
And what I thought was great is that Andy had this idea to get back at him, to TP his office, and he did that. Mm-hmm. He ended up doing that.
Which is like the sweetest revenge you've ever heard of.
Yes. And then he lost one of the ninjas, which was a really cute moment at the end. I loved that moment.
Like, who's your buddy, Hunter?
Yes.
Is it Hunter or is it Caleb?
When we were at Treat Yourself 2017 in Beverly Hills, we got to see a lot of cool things. We saw the Hollywood stars. We saw a bus tour, Usher's house.
And Usher's star.
And apparently Christina Aguilera and Bruce Willis lived together or something.
Oh, yeah, that's new.
Yes.
That's a thing that happens.
And Josh Groban, which was amazing. I love him. He's so talented and awesome. And he has sushi named after him at this sushi restaurant.
I gotta say, Josh Groban is such a good sport. He's done a lot of little stuff like this, and he's so funny, and he's so cool about just like being that guy. Mm-hmm. I always gotta give it up for Josh Groban.
Yes. And near the end, we actually have this Beachview Terrace that they end up convincing Grizzle to make their headquarters there and donate the land to the National Park Service.
Because what was going to happen is they already spent the $125 million to buy the land. Mm-hmm. It was going to cost them at least another $100 million to build completely new facilities there. Right. So instead of spending all of that money, they might be able to break even just by using this kind of big 5-block square footage of warehouse and kind of
derelict area that already has plumbing and electricity, because they would have had to do that in the land.
And it was more space than they would have gotten in the park anyway.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, see, it's already graffitied. That's so hip. Don't you guys
don't even have to hire Banksy.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited that this was resolved, and now I wonder where it's going to go this season.
Isn't it crazy that we're really just like solving our problems here? Like the Ron and Leslie thing, that's done and settled, and now the national parks, that's completely done. It's crazy how well they're just kind of picking it up and
we have Tom and Lucy. They're going to date, which is amazing. I loved seeing that, too.
Yeah, they're going to be each other's date to Donna's wedding.
Yes. Do you guys have any predictions about the next couple episodes?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
I'm excited to see Donna's wedding. I think that's going to be awesome. Who knows when it's going to happen, but it'll be good. And you know that Chris and Ann are going to have to come back for that.
So that's the episode.
Do you think that's what it's going to be? That's when they come back?
Well, they've got to, at least for that. Yeah. I would think. Maybe sooner.
I also think there's got to be something with the kids, because it's been so long that we haven't seen them. Come on.
I know.
I also want to see John Ralphio. He's the worst.
I want to see him, too. I can't wait. So where can we find you on Twitter if we want to talk during the week?
You guys can find me at Quinn Scillian on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram at Quinstagram. That's QU_Instagram. Or follow me on Vine at the Quinn B.
And you can find me at Lauren Salaun everywhere. YouTube, Instagram,
You make
Twitter.
it so simple.
You can find me on Twitter at Katie Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's, and Instagram at Katie Campbell 13.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.